Here we are in section 5-2, exercises numbers 23 through 26. Word problems again. It says write an equation, then solve, which we're going to do data, the unknown, a variable, plan, think through it, and an equation. Maybe there's a formula there, an equation, and then we're in happy math land and can solve it. So we travel to a different state and buy a souvenir priced at $20. So that's a piece of data we need to highlight. And you pay $170 in tax on the item. Feels like you paid more tax than you paid when you were experts. You wonder about the tax rate. That's what we're trying to find. That's our variable. Find the tax rate that was used to show your answer to the 10th of a percent. Okay, so let's think through. We have our variable R. Here's the price, P, and here's the tax, T. Do we have a formula? Yeah, we do. And thinking through this, we have a formula, which was that T equals RP, if you remember that formula. But it was more that it was whatever tax rate times the price, there's a little times there, equaled the 170. That's how tax rate works. So we would have tax is $1.70 equals rate times price. We don't know the rate, but we do know the price was $20. So we really have the equation 20R equals 170. Okay, divide by 20. Notice we have an equation. Happy math land right there. We can solve this guy. Divide by 20. Divide by 20. R equals 1.7 divided by 20. That's 1.7 divided by 20. Move the decimal once that way, once that way. So it's really 2 going into 0.17. All right, 2 goes into 1. No, it doesn't. 0 times 2 is 0. Subtract it. We get 0. 1 minus 0 is 1, 7. 2 goes into 17 8 times. 8 times 2 is 16. Subtract and we get 1. Let's put another 0 back there. 2 goes into 10 5 times. So that's 0.085. That is what R is, but when we turn it into a percentage, we move it 2 places, so it is 8.5%. Yes, that is more than Idaho. Idaho usually is 6%. So we have 8.5% interest rate in this new state. Okay. Number 24, John grew up in the United States and travels to Europe as an adult. While there, he gets sick and visits a medical clinic. Blah, 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 blah. Medical provider reports his body temperature as, there's our number right there, 38.7 degrees. He's like, oh my goodness, I'm freezing to death. He thinks then, in his delirious state, realizes his temperature was reported using the Celsius scale. Oh, we're going to do a temperature conversion. We need the temperature in Fahrenheit. So that's our variable, okay, is the F. We know what C is. C is 38.7, so we need that formula. And so we may need to look in the book, and it is C equals 5/9 F minus 32, like that. Now, in the previous chapter, they always gave us F, and then we just computed this. Now, notice what's happening. They gave us 38.7 equals 5/9 times F minus 32, like that. Wow, and it says we can use a calculator. Alrighty. Well, let's simplify some things here. I'm going to do as much as I can without the calculator, so I'm going to jump this through here, simplify as much as we can on that side. So we get 38.7 equals 5/9 times F minus 5/9 times 32. I'm going to leave that as, I'm going to times the top, so I get 160 ninths. So that's just, I did 32 times 5 like this. 5 times 2 is 0, 1. 5 times 3 is 15, plus that 1 is 16. So 160 ninths, like that. So this is where the calculator is going to come in handy. Notice we still follow those same rules. We're trying to get F by itself, so we add 160 ninths to both sides. Add 160 ninths. Add 160 ninths. Now I'm going to plug that in my calculator. 38.7. Add 160 divided by 9. and I get 56.4777 on forever equals 5/9 F. Okay, so now I have to get rid of this 5/9. So divide by 5/9, which is the same as, let me get a different color so it pops here, timesing by 9/5. Timesing by 9/5. Cancel, 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 and back to the original color. F equals, so I'm going to take 56.47 repeater times 9 divided by 5, and I get 101.66. Nearest tenth of a degree. Let's put it like that. So I got a round, and that makes a 101.7 degrees Fahrenheit. Yep, he has a fever. That is true. 38.7 degrees Celsius is a fever indeed. All right. All right, number 25. Here we have a triangle has one angle with a measure. Oh, we're a triangle. That means we're going to use a shape formula here. And we got to find the one with the angles. So in the book that we had the different formulas and triangles, and the one that was in the book, I'll draw that triangle just a little bit bigger here. We had something like this. We had an A and a B and a C, where A plus B plus C equals 180. That's what the formula, the angles add up to 180. So one angle, we'll call that A with a measure of 35.2, another angle of 68.5, and we know 180 is the whole thing over there. So let's write out the equation. 35.2 plus 68.5 plus C equals 180. Now you might think in your mind, why don't you just add them up and subtract from 180? Bingo! That's exactly what we're doing. Notice that some of these problems you can think through in your head. Great. Others, when you write out the equation, it shows you exactly what to do. So if you didn't identify exactly what to do, this is how algebra is so powerful. It always follows those same rules so that you can solve it no matter how complex, whether they're being added or subtracted or multiplied or divided, it tells you. All right, so 35.2, we better add those two together. 35.2 plus 68.5. 2 plus 5 is 7. 5 plus 8 is 13. And 1 plus 3 plus 6 is 103.7. So we have 103.7 plus C equals 180. What do you do with that? Get C by itself by subtracting 103.7 from both sides. And we get C equals, let's go over here, 180 minus 103.7. 0 minus 7 is too small. 0 minus 2 small. There we go. Make that a 10. Cancel it out now. Make it a 9. 10. 10 minus 7 is 3. 9 minus 3 is 6. 7 minus 0 is 7. C is 76.3 degrees. That's the third angle in that triangle. All right. Next, find the area of the shaded region. Notice what we have here. This is a rectangle, which the area is length times width. That's for the rectangle right here. And it would cover all of this, which means we need to get rid of the circle. So this guy right here is area equals pi r squared. Now that's interesting. How do we get the radius there? Oh, if this from top to bottom, it doesn't look like it touches. It does. It does. They meant that. So if that is 8, then this is 4 going halfway up and halfway down. So the radius is 4. So this guy is pi times 4 times 4. That's going to be the area of the circle. And the area of the rectangle is length 15 times 8. Okay, so let's do that one. 15 times 8. 8 times 5 is 40. Carry the 4, put the 0 down. 8 times 1 is 8, plus 4 is 12. So 120. Now notice that means that if you were to draw those little things over here, There are 120 of these little square inches, inches by inches. Oh, we could write that inches, little square inches. And now, it said to use a calculator here. Pi times 4 times 4. If I punch that in my calculator, that's going to be, let me see, 4 times 4 is 16 times pi, 50.265. So we can say 27. Okay. And if you notice and you do that, there are 50.27 of those square inches there. So if you take the whole 120 and then subtract out those 50.27 little square inches, you'll get what's left. And so it will equal 120 minus that 50.27, and I get 60.73. And notice we have measurements, so we got to use those right units. We're doing an area, so it's covered by these little square patches, inches to the second power, or inches squared. Excellent.